Yo, 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 what's poppin'? What's poppin', y'all? Another live Woke Bros edition. Gonna let a couple people enter the chat. You know, we love a good chat up in here. So just gonna let a couple of y'all. Okay, that's cool. Just gonna let a couple of y'all come into the chat. What do we got here? The hell? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Jervis. The YouTube says it's still waiting on us to go live. So I don't think we're live on YouTube yet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Live 95, Live Woke Bros edition. What's up, y'all? Just wanted a couple of y'all to come up in here before we get cracking. Live Woke Bros edition, little election fallout. That was a barn burner 2 days ago, man. Look, I sometimes worry about the fate of the country for sure. But how could you not be entertained by that? Like, wow. Holy moly. All right, we'll give it like 30 more seconds and get things rolling. Okay. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? I'm Big Waz, aka Wosny Lambre. This is the Woke Bros. Shouts to everybody who's joined us live on YouTube. Shouts to everybody listening on their podcasts while they wash their dishes. You know what I mean? Commute to work, dice onions. That's what I like to do when I'm getting my mise en place. Mise en place. When I'm doing that, when I'm chopping up the onions and the garlic and all of that, I love having a podcast on for that. Anyway, yeah, man. Shouts to everybody who's been locked in with us, election coverage and all of that stuff. Oh, quick shout out, man, to my brother Jovan Buha, his lovely now wife, Helena. I was at their wedding this past weekend out in Palm Springs, man. Just a beautiful ceremony, beautiful couple, beautiful family. Hot as shit. Oh my God. It was 108 degrees out there, boy. 7 p.m. It was still 106 out in Palm Springs. It was hot as hell, but hey, man, we braved through, danced, sang, had some good laughs, ran into a couple of my media homies and like real homies like Jared Weiss and Dan Boyke and my man Sam Amick. Dave McMenamin was in there. A couple of the media homies out there, man. But yeah, big shout outs to Jovan. That's my brother. Congrats on his nuptials. His lady is just an amazing person. Super happy for him. So shouts to him. But yeah, let's get right into it, y'all. Yeah, and don't be afraid to get into the chat. Jerv gonna be populating y'all funniest comments for me to read and interact with. So don't be afraid to get into the chat. But yeah, we had what ended up being the second presidential debate of this campaign cycle, but the first between Kamala and Donald Trump. Obviously, the first one was with Joe Biden, where he, essentially shat the bed, had to leave the race. And yeah, Kamala finally got her first crack at him. And what I would say was Kamala's first real test, because as you guys know by now, like she's been avoiding media like the plague. And because of that, nobody's really she hasn't had to do anything with some stakes in the spotlight. She finally did that interview way back when with Dana Bash, which was basically a softball ass interview. She did it with Tim Walz by her side. She did a decent job at that. And I don't know that there was too much to glean from that, but she did her thing. But man, did she smoke Donald Trump, man? It's crazy because if you watched it, and I ended up rewatching it this morning, 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes of it, Trump was decent, he was on topic with his immigration stuff, and the economy was so amazing under him allegedly, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are sending all Americans to the poorhouse, and he was kind of on his message. But as soon as she went at freaking his crowd sizes, he just lost it. He just lost it, man. It was, and yes, we're gonna get into the Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs and pets and stuff like that. We'll get into that. But yeah, it just shows you that the Trump of 2024 is not the Trump of 2016. He was just way better at being off the cuff, but also staying on message about the free trade and the forever wars that nobody wanted, and the jobs that are no longer here in this country, and the people that are hurting, and the people that, like, he was tapped into some like actual anger, like some actual truths, no pun intended, to all my true social homies out there. But these days, man, he just lacks any message discipline. What in the sports world, in football, you call scheme discipline. In basketball, like your defensive integrity, like making your rotations, right? Like actually setting a screen when you actually, go up there for a pick and roll instead of just going up, tapping a defender and then doing some half-ass roll, like actually hitting your points, actually being disciplined in what you need to go out and do, these little things that you fine tune in order to perfectly connect with your audience and your message. And Kamala was like, yo, this guy is so venal. He's so petty. He's so insecure. He's so vain. I'm going to rattle this dude. She went in there trying to rattle him and succeeded. So obvious, because when she did the crowd size thing, it had nothing to do with the question that was posed. She just said, yo, let me go off on a tangent. And then we were just off to the races. And he was cooked. I thought, she just did a good job of getting him out of his game, not even out of character, and just characterizing him effectively as an unserious person and not like somebody who you would want to be a public servant. This guy clearly is not in this because he cares about the issues that affect the most vulnerable amongst us, or even not even the most vulnerable, middle-class folks. He just, like, you cannot come away from that debate, as it were. I don't know how much we could even call this a debate of any ideas or any policy or anything like that, or the direction of the country. But you can say whatever you want about Kamala and that she's an empty vessel and that, nobody knows what she stands for and blah, blah, blah. You could say all of that if you want. But if you watch the debate, man, like the person who felt like a more serious person for a job, a big undertaking, it just wasn't Donald Trump. And if you're rooting for Kamala to win this election, like there's no way you come out of that debate not feeling better about her chances. The early poll. So we got a couple of little poll numbers out there, so a little bit of data points. I know the Washington Post polled a bunch of viewers. Half of them were Trump people, half of them were Harris people. By the time the debate ended, 63% of them to 37%. That's a 26-point margin. Thought that Kamala won that debate. If you go on Polybet, the betting markets, they've had Trump basically as the more than 50% favorite to win. At one point, I think it was like 53-47 at one point. Basically this entire time, even as Kamala has been gaining in momentum, at points it was 51-48, all of that stuff. That now is 50% Kamala, I think 48.5% in Trump's direction. So she's actually leading. Again, let's keep it 1,000, like 50-48. Like it's a toss-up still. But again, these are the data points that we have. She didn't get much of a convention bump, but people seem to be convinced because Hillary, after winning her Trump debate in 2016, got a bump. Biden, after his Trump debate in 2020, he got a bump in the polls. Trump, after whooping Joe Biden's ass, or Joe Biden falling on his face in the debate a couple of months ago, he got a bump. And so it's only natural to think that Kamala's going to get a bump out of this. And again, like this is just continues the trend of pretty much most things coming up aces. And it comes at a very good time because this week was the first time we got polls that showed that Kamala's momentum had finally stalled. That for the first time, she had kind of lost some percentage points in the polling since she jumped in the race. Because obviously the trajectory from Joe Biden getting smoked to, drawing damn near even is such a long way. And so, of course, the trajectory is up, 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 even if at no point it was like, oh, she's some heavy favorite. But this week was the first time I was like, yo, the momentum is finally stalled. And we had reached some level of stasis for the first time in a race. And guess what? She's probably going to get a bump out of this. Again, I continue to be amazed by this. And of course, afterwards, Trump goes on Fox News. They ask him if he's going to do another debate. He's doing the freaking, the blatant, just like, what do you call it? The blatant, just delusion. This idea that like he won. So he's like, oh, he was using this boxing analogy. Like, yo, like usually, it's like when you watch a prize fight, the guy that loses, as soon as he does the interview, he's like, oh, I want a rematch. I want to go after him again. He's like, we won. Why do I need to do a rematch? Where the reality is, man, I don't think that Trump actually wants to do another debate because, he looked pretty bad on this. And again, a lot of this was just self-inflicted. There was no reason to go off on the tangents. Oh, and again, oh my God, just some of the issues that actually did come up. Kamala was basically like, yo, I'm a border hawk now. No, like traditional liberal messaging on this, which I think is a mistake, honestly. Shouts to Crystal Ball from Breaking Points. I think she's spot on in her analysis of this. When the Dems basically co-opt the Republican messaging on immigration, they send a message out to voters that basically the Republicans are right. And so we agree with them, you agree with them, they agree with themselves. That does nothing but push voters and their views on immigration, right? When you just carte blanche to say, we're going to co-opt the most hawkish stance, quite cynically, I might add, on immigration that we possibly can because we want to cut and run on this subject instead of being like, yo, we need to fix the problems at the border. We need to do a better job of streamlining the process by which asylum seekers and other immigrants get processed, whether they could stay or not. We need to make that a better process. We need to fix it. We can fix shit. This is America. Why can't we fix something like this? Like, goddamn, we need to fix that. And we need to provide a path to citizenship for a lot of the people that are already here so that they could get on the books for freaking taxes, paying the Social Security, paying the Medicaid, like, become freaking actual people, and it's hilarious. The immigration thing is crazy. There's two things that bother me, and we're gonna get back to the debate, but there's two things that bother me about the immigration conversation. Obviously, I'm freaking biased, right? Both of my parents are Haitian immigrants. Most of the people in my life growing up, in terms of my aunts, my uncles, my older cousins, like people that raised me are all immigrant people, not just them. My friends, their parents are immigrants to this country. I grew up in an immigrant community in both Brooklyn and Queens. Like and these are Haitian immigrants, Nigerian, Trinidadian, Jamaican, Barbados, you name it. So, and again, and beyond that, a lot of my Latin American friends, their parents are from Colombia, from Ecuador, from Peru, from Dominican Republic. Like, obviously, I feel a strong bias here. I'm not going to make any bones about that, how I feel about this. So just the idea that we're going to adopt this notion that immigration, bad, just in and of itself, bad. I think that's a mistake. We need to define our stance on immigration, which is one, immigrants help make this country what it is. Okay, we're a nation of freaking immigrants. Even if you're white, believe it or not, your fucking people were immigrants at one time too. That's a one. And two, like, it's not a mistake to say we need to address what's happening at the border, which legitimately is a mess. Like, there's no two, like, that's true. But that doesn't mean we throw out the baby with the bathwater. One, because again, immigrants make up a great percentage. Like any study you want to, like, they do crimes at lesser rate, they finish school at higher rates, they, like, these people are the most upstanding citizens in our freaking country. Like, every single study shows you the truth of immigrants. Yes, we need to choose who's coming in, and obviously we're a sovereign nation. We should have autonomy about who comes in, who comes out, and all of that kind of stuff. But like this idea that immigration bad because it's polling bad right now, I think it's so cynical and short-sighted, and you cede the ground to these folks. You're not even battling them on the immigration question. You're just being like, yo, Trump is right. We're adopting that stance. And why that's a mistake, and again, shouts to Crystal Ball and Breaking Points for pointing it out, because you don't have any credibility on the subject. We're going to talk about what the immigration portion of the debate later, but like the Dems don't have credibility on immigration hawkishness. So to turn around and just adopt the Republican frame is a mistake, because nobody believes you guys are freaking border hawks. Even if you decide that you are tomorrow, you don't possess the credibility. It's like Republicans don't have credibility on abortion. They've been the anti-abortion party for 50 fucking years. No matter what Donald Trump says, if he adopts some pro-abortion rhetoric as a dyed-in-the-wool Republican, it's going to take time to build credibility on that issue. They've been the people campaigning and struggling against abortion for years, right? And so that's a mistake. And I just think morally, which I'll make as the last argument, because I just don't think we need to do that, but just morally, U.S. policy destabilizing places like Ecuador, which was never a crazy, violent place like that, destabilizing places like Venezuela, destabilizing places like El Salvador. It's our freaking policy that are making these places a mess. You think these people want to freaking walk through the freaking jungles in freaking Mexico and Central America, get to America, not know shit about this country, don't speak the language, don't know nobody, basically struggle to put some food on the table for them? You think they want to do that? They home country, they whole family, all the people they grow up with is back home and shit is cracking? Like, no, nobody's dying to come here like that. And the bottom line is, we are the police of this side of the world. And it's often our policy that is destabilizing these places. So to go in there and from top down destabilize the places where these people live, then make it damn near unlivable. Then when these folks show up on our borders seeking asylum, say, nah, kid, you can't come, while we're meddling in their affairs and making shit legitimately worse. Like, holy shit. I just think morally it's a crazy stance to take, but whatever. Kamala's going hawkish on the immigration thing. She basically was like, yo, we put a bill up there to shut the border down. We're border hawks now. That's what I got to say about it. I think it's a mistake, but whatever. They got Trump on abortion. I mean, the abortion shit was just a mess, because she just, oh my God, she wiped the floor. He said, we gave people the abortion policy everybody wanted, liberals and everybody. And she was like, are you kidding me? People that miscarry having to bleed out in a parking lot car? A car parking lot, bro? Because doctors scared to operate on them because they might go to jail? What? Like, she went crazy on him. And again, the freaking, like, the issue that's a winner for the Dems, she stuck to message. She was on point. She killed it. She was like, oh, I'm going to go in on abortion. She went isolation on this shit with abortion, whereas Trump can't stay on message. Then, like, you know, the lady was like, the ABC chick was like, yo, JD Vance said you'd veto a nationwide abortion ban. He's like, I don't know why JD said that, but I threw JD Vance under the bus. He's all over the place. He looks insane. And by the way, I think a federal ban on abortion is polling at like 15%, meaning 85% of Americans, all Americans, guys, do not favor an abortion ban, which would mean that would mean that probably more than half of Republican voters don't want this. So Trump is out there stumping for a 15% issue. Are you fucking shitting me? He was a disaster, guys. The guy was just a disaster. He was a disaster. And so, yeah, you just gotta give it, you gotta give it to Kamala and her team for what they did. I wish her messaging would be a little bit more muscular in terms of what she wants for the future of this country. Like, I wish she was leaning into the child tax credit. I wish she was leaning into, her plans to give people breaks on rent increases and stuff like that. I wish, but I guess the Biden people in her team are telling her to run the same cynical ass hush hush mum campaign that Biden did, and it might win to just, if the job is just to highlight how utterly ridiculous Trump is. I mean, people do still have a strong connection to the quote unquote Trump economy. Which I think a lot of it, guys, is them stimulus checks, man, and like people wasn't out spending. People, like, there were record amounts of savings and savings accounts and all of that shit. I think a lot of it was COVID money, but whatever. Whatever. People feel that way, and people that are worried about the border don't have faith in the Dems and their approach. But not everybody's a border hawk, or like border and immigration is their number one issue. But if it is, Trump needed to be telling those people that he's the guy to handle it. And instead, and I know you guys want to talk about this, he's talking about some fake story out of Springfield, Ohio, about Haitian immigrants eating stealing people's pets and eating them for lunch and dinner at home. Just to stand, this shit started in some like Facebook group. There was a rumor in the Facebook group, and then I think it got picked up on Reddit. Then, of course, it inevitably makes it to Twitter. And then, the people over there, like police, the county commissioner, like everybody over there was like, this is like completely unfounded falsity. It's not true. Like, none of this happened. But of course, Trump ran with it, and they're going to run ads on this shit, y'all. That like Kamala and them are gonna rightfully be like, this is your king. He's accusing people of eating, like, even if you fucking hate, even the most virulently racist, foaming at the mouth, future Klansman and training racist person in this country probably doesn't think people are eating cats and dogs. I'm going to venture a guess that even the most strident anti-immigrant people are going to have a hard time believing that that's the case. And so, I just thought Trump was just a disaster. And if you're rooting for Trump, oh my God. Again, it's still a coin flip, all of that stuff. Anyway, just thinking to the Haitian part of it, man. Like, obviously, you guys know my background. I'm a Haitian American, born and raised in New York City amongst a bunch of other Haitians, and been going to Haiti my whole life. All of this stuff. Obviously, we're a proud people, but it's funny because like watching JD Vance smear Haitians has just brought me back to early 90s, growing up as a young Haitian nigga. Like being a Haitian in New York City was a problem. People hated on you. Like, people just fucking hated on Haitian people. Why? First of all, they put AIDS on us in the late 80s, early 90s. Like, I'm talking about, they blamed us for bringing the AIDS virus to America. That's what they put on Haitians in this country, to the point where doctors in New York City were refusing to see Haitian patients, guys. Look this up. That motherfuckers had to march through New York, march through Manhattan to combat this discriminatory practices against the Haitians. Like, obviously, we the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere and blah, 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 all of that shit that y'all already know. Just poverty and blighted, society as being attached to the Haitian people since Timbuktu, and that stuff in the 90s, like, that shit was strong, man. If you were a young Haitian cat growing up, man, especially in New York or wherever the fuck you was at, there was people that would lie about being Haitian. They would straight up be like, nah, I'm Trini. Nah, I'm Haitian. Like, people were like, it was so bad back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Like, my brother's 11 years older than me. My sister's 13 years older than me. Their cohort. Motherfuckers just fight you on sight just because you was Haitian. All the Haitians are dirty. All the Haitians stink. All the Haitians, like, bro, it was terrible. And so, like, shouts to Wyclef and the Fugees and, like, all the other prominent Haitians and, like, culture and, like, these, like, exalted elite people in society that are Haitian people. Like, the Haitian reputation in America is like great now. So it's like hard for me to get worked up about JD Vance and shit. But like it did remind me, man, where there was a time where it was cool for people to dump on the Haitians. It just was, bro. And so now, like, I laugh at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put some jokes on my Instagram, like me with my cat. Haitians don't eat cat, but Haitians don't eat dog. I'll tell you the proteins: chicken, of course, turkey, pork, goat is big. Goat is probably my favorite protein in any Haitian meal. It's like that fried up goat. Oh my God. Tasso. Oh my God. You give me some fried goat. It's probably my number one dish on planet Earth. Right there with the oxtail. Listen, listen, man. Listen, man. Listen, I had to let them people know that we was good. We was good money. You feel me? Mimi was not on the menu. But yeah, we don't eat exotic stuff. Like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of cultures that eat innards, like kidney and liver. Like, I think there's people that eat that, but that's not something I grew up eating. Gizzards and shit like that. Like, there's people that ate that kind of stuff. But like, it's not a thing. I know I shouldn't be debunking it and giving credence to it, but it's just like, it's just not a thing. But yeah, like, that shit made me laugh, man. It really just made me think about how far Haitians have come in America in terms of, a level of dignity and respect afforded to Haitian people. That just wasn't the case in the 90s. And I'm not talking about crackers was doing this. I'm talking about the Jamaicans, the Trinis, like even the Africans was hating on us. It was crazy, y'all. It was crazy. Black Americans in New York, what? Bruh. I remember one of my best friends, I don't mind telling this story. My brother Jarrell Smith in high school. Shout to Smitty. We became close. He was a year above me in high school. A lot of my homies from middle school were a year above me in high school, and they had already become friends with Jarrell. So he's a sophomore, I'm a freshman by the time I get to high school. And me and him just become fast friends because one, he's like incredible football player. Obviously, I was super into football at the time. And he was a Brooklyn guy. Like, so by the time I'm a freshman in high school, I'm 14. I'm only 2 years removed from moving from Brooklyn, from Flatbush to Queens. And so even at that time, I still self-identified as more of a Brooklyn person at the time. And so when I met Jarrell, like, that was another thing that we connected on because he was a Brooklyn guy, growing up in East Flatbush, but living now at that time in Fort Greene. And I remember it was like months into our relationship. And Jarrell is a Black American, just so y'all know. And he was like, bruh, so you just be telling people that you're Haitian? He was like, you just tell people, like, you're just cool with people knowing that you're Haitian? Like, and he genuinely asked me this because he was just shocked as a cat that grew up in Brooklyn, growing up in the 90s, like seeing the jokes and the ridicule that so many Haitian Americans face. Like, Jarrell was just shocked. And that's a story that I still tease him about to this day because he was like legitimately surprised. But like, people don't know this, man. But like, especially in places like New York City, which I imagine is the case all over the place. When you on a job site, a lot of times the people, like the powers that be at the job, would oftentimes pit the immigrants against the native Black Americans and be like, oh, look at these Haitian immigrants. They're way more hardworking. They're grateful to be in this country. You guys are lazy. You guys don't, like, they would often pit them against each other. And I think that caused a lot of friction, interracial friction amongst the West Indian immigrants that had, come into New York City in the 70s and 80s, and the native Black American people who were already there. When these crackers at your job are just like, yo, these other Negroes are better than you, or are better workers or blah blah blah, like, you know, and that created a lot of animosity, I feel like, and it bred a lot of animosity. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you, like in my household, like my people, like the older people in my household would be like, yo, don't fuck with Black Americans, they ain't got no culture, blah blah blah, all kinds of crap, bro, all kinds of crap. But like, you know, for us in my generation, all like, and again, the Haitians and Jamaicans, oh my God, to this day, I think there's still quite a little bit of problem with that faction. But like, you know, your parents didn't want you hanging out with Jamaican kids. You know, oh, they got earrings. Oh, they got all kinds of braids and shit. Oh, these kids is blah, blah, blah. But like, we never internalized this shit on the block because it's like, yo, we listening to the same music. We both into hoop. We both think the same girls are hot. Like, we just felt so connected. It just never, that shit never really computed with me that like my homie shouldn't be my homie because he's Black American. Like, I'm Black American, realistically. I'm the one growing up in New York, listening to this music, watching these TV shows, like wearing these clothes, doing like Black American culture is my culture. That's what I feel native to. You know, a lot more so than a lot of stuff that was Haitian coded, right? And so that's all the JD Vance thing did for me, is just really make me reminisce on how far the Haitians have come. You know what I'm saying? In all of this. By the way, shouts to Maxwell. Go watch his Tiny Desk. That nigga's Haitian. He was a secret Haitian for a minute, y'all. Maxwell wasn't telling people, he wasn't telling niggas he was Haitian when he first came out. Yeah, Maxwell's Haitian and Puerto Rican, boy. He was another. There was so many secret Haitians, boy, back in the 90s, boy. Usher is not a secret Haitian, y'all. This has been a rumor since like 97, 98, y'all. It's like he put this thing to bed. He's not a secret Haitian. Usher is Black American cat from Chattanooga, Tennessee, y'all. Yeah, Maxwell is Haitian, y'all. He Puerto Rican and Haitian, yeah. But yeah, man. So, you know, just I had jokes with it, had laughs with it. My favorite tweet, call me Haitian the way I'm eating her cat. I sent that shit to every Haitian person in my phone book. I text that tweet to every single Haitian I knew. I had to. This is stuff like, this is the kind of stuff. And yo, and by the way, shouts to Kamala again. She's not repeating the mistakes of 2016. We're not doing that. We're not going to fall on a fainting couch because Trump says some dumb racist shit about Haitian people. He's ridiculous. We don't have to dignify this dude with like fainting couches and pearl clutching. Like, bro, you a clown. You sound crazy. We're not doing the Hillary browbeaten, deplorable, like, nah. You're a clown. You can't be serious, bro. That's it. And that's why I'm happy with the strategy that the game plan that they're running on that, man. Again, shouts to everybody on the chat. The race is neck and neck. I think we got 6 weeks to go. What we got? 7 weeks to go. Yeah, man. We will see you guys next week. I'm gonna see you guys next week live from Europe, actually, because I'm actually going. Shouts to my brother Boss. Shouts to the entire Dreamville Fiends family. My brother Derek Oakley, Matty P, Ebe, all my guys over at Dreamville. I'm actually going to Amsterdam on Monday. Boss has a show in Amsterdam, followed by London, followed by Paris. I'm in all 3 dates. 3 European cities in 6 days. Super pumped for that. But I'm going to go live from, I think I'll be in London. I think I will be in London next Thursday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be in London next Thursday. I'll be going live from London for y'all. I'm still tapped into the presidential race, still tapping in with the latest in politics. Shouts to everybody. We're doing this live every Thursday, y'all, up until the election for Showski. Obviously, the pod will be available for my people that listen on the pod afterwards. Shouts to my man, John Gervais, keeping the trains running, man, on the 1s and 3s. He's a hero of this pod, man. Shouts to the whole Count the Dinks family. And yeah, man. Oh, and shouts to my brother, Kevin O'Connor, KOC. Shouts to my brother. He's not going to be listening to this. everybody thinks KOC is like some right-wing lunatic because he likes Elon, but he's not. That's my boy. I have it on good authority. He's not like some secret Klansman, or like he wouldn't have been like one of the people in Boston holding up pitchforks, like blocking the busing campaign. Like KOC is actually like a really great dude, sweet, one of the sweetest guys in the whole industry. Like I've become like pretty close to him since we become homies. I mean, since we became colleagues at the Ringer. That's just my boy. I really got a lot of love for him, so I'm proud of him. He's moving on to new things at Yahoo Sports. I know he's going to kill it over there. He's one of the this guy is one of the hardest working people in our whole business. Like, it's no doubt about it. So I'm proud of him. So shouts to my boy KOC. Make sure y'all checking out his work at Yahoo Sports. He's still my man. We still gonna be locked in. I know I'm gonna do his pod a couple of times this year. So stay locked into that, man. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.